Part 1, The Encounter. The moon hung low in the night sky, casting eerie shadows along the desolate streets of Ravenswood. Sarah, a young woman in her late 20s, had just finished her late-night shift at the local diner. She walked briskly, clutching her jacket tighter against the biting cold. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Sarah's footsteps echoed through the empty streets, each one a reminder of her isolation. She turned a corner, her heart racing, and scanned the darkened alleys for any sign of movement. Nothing. Just the distant hum of a flickering streetlight. As she approached her apartment building, relief washed over her. The dull glow of the lobby seemed to offer safety. She climbed the stairs to her third-floor apartment and fumbled for her keys, her breath visible in the frigid air. Inside, the apartment was warm and inviting. Sarah locked the door behind her and let out a sigh of relief. She couldn't explain the unease she felt, but she dismissed it as her imagination playing tricks on her. Part 2, The Unsettling Dream. That night, Sarah drifted into a restless sleep. She found herself in a strange, unsettling dream. She stood in front of a mirror, staring at her own reflection. But something was horribly wrong. The reflection didn't mimic her every move. It moved independently, with a sinister smile curling its lips. Sarah tried to look away, but she couldn't. The reflection's eyes locked onto hers, and it whispered her name with a chilling familiarity. She awoke with a start, her heart pounding in her chest. The room was bathed in darkness, and the dream clung to her like a nightmare. She shook it off as another bout of paranoia and tried to get back to sleep. Part 3, The Haunting. Over the next few days, Sarah's life took a strange turn. Small, inexplicable events began to unfold. Her reflection in the bathroom mirror seemed to linger a moment too long, studying her with an eerie intensity. She found herself misplacing everyday items, her keys, her phone, her favorite coffee mug, only to discover them mysteriously return to their usual places. One evening, as she browsed through old family photos, she stumbled upon an album of her childhood. Her heart skipped a beat as she noticed something uncanny. In a faded photograph, she saw a girl who looked exactly like her, down to the last detail, standing alongside her parents. She couldn't have had a twin, and she certainly didn't remember having one. Sarah's unease grew with each passing day. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, even within the confines of her own home. It was as if someone was living a shadowy existence parallel to her own. Part 4, The Double's Pursuit. One fateful night, Sarah decided to confront her growing paranoia. She sat in her living room, the only light coming from a dimly lit lamp. The apartment was still, save for the soft hum of the refrigerator. As the minutes stretched into hours, Sarah's eyes grew heavy, and she began to doze off. Just as she was about to surrender to sleep, she heard it, a faint whisper, like the rustle of leaves in the wind. "Sarah!" Her eyes snapped open, and she scanned the room, heart pounding. There, standing in the corner of her living room, was her exact double. It mirrored her every movement, its eyes locked onto hers with a chilling intensity. Sarah's voice quivered as she spoke, "Who are you? What do you want?" The doppelganger smiled, its lips curving into a sinister grin. "I am you, Sarah. I want what you have." Part 5, The Terrifying Revelation. The encounter with her doppelganger left Sarah shaken to her core. She couldn't comprehend the nature of this eerie twin. How could it exist, and why did it want what she had? Determined to unravel the mystery, Sarah delved into research about doppelgangers, folklore, and the supernatural. She learned that doppelgangers were often seen as omens of impending doom, harbingers of bad luck. They were said to represent the dark and hidden aspects of one's psyche, a malevolent force born from within. Sarah's obsession with her doppelganger grew. She began to keep a journal, documenting every encounter and every strange occurrence. She sought the help of paranormal experts, psychics, and even priests, but none could provide a satisfactory explanation or a solution to her predicament. Part 6, The Confrontation. Weeks turned into months, and Sarah's life became a living nightmare. Her doppelganger grew bolder, mimicking her actions in increasingly unsettling ways. It seemed to take pleasure in tormenting her, appearing at the most unexpected moments. One stormy night, as Sarah lay awake in her bed, she heard the whisper again, closer this time. "Sarah." She gathered her courage and confronted the doppelganger. "What do you want from me?" The doppelganger smiled that sinister smile once more. "I want to be you, Sarah. I want to live your life, to experience your joys and sorrows. I am your shadow, your reflection, your dark side. And I will stop at nothing to take your place." Part 7, The Desperate Escape. As the doppelganger's pursuit intensified, Sarah felt herself slipping into madness. She could no longer distinguish reality from the nightmare that had consumed her life. Her once warm and inviting apartment had become a prison, and the sinister presence of her doppelganger haunted her every moment. In a desperate bid to escape, Sarah fled Ravenswood, leaving behind her job, her friends, and everything she had ever known. She drove for hours, the road stretching endlessly before her, until she reached a remote cabin deep in the woods. There, she hoped to find solitude and safety. But the doppelganger's presence did not wane. It followed her, its malevolent whispers echoing through the dark forest. Part 8, The Final Showdown. Alone in the cabin, Sarah felt the weight of her torment pressing down on her. She had nowhere left to run. She decided to confront the doppelganger one last time, to end this nightmare once and for all. As the moon hung low in the night sky, casting eerie shadows across the cabin's wooden walls, Sarah stood face to face with her doppelganger. She could see the malice in its eyes, the twisted reflection of her own fear. With a trembling voice, Sarah spoke, "You can't have my life. You are not me." The doppelganger's smile faded, replaced by a look of desperation. "I am you. I am everything you fear, everything you deny. I am your darkness, your shadow." Sarah took a step forward, her determination unwavering. "No, you are not me. I will not let you consume me." With those words, Sarah summoned a strength she didn't know she possessed. She faced her doppelganger head on, and in that moment, the two merged into one. The darkness lifted, and Sarah found herself standing alone in the cabin, free from the haunting presence.